Matthew here from MiniWarGaming.com. I'm going to make a quick video here. I need your opinion. I found something very curious in the Necron Codex and in the rulebook that I want to talk about. And I want to see what you think about this. Now, I'm kind of not really serious about this, but at the same time, the wording does make something very interesting. In the Necron Codex, we have a rule called Entropic Strike, or Entropic Touch in some cases. So, the rule reads as follows. Any model that suffers one or more unsaved wounds from a weapon or model with this special rule immediately loses its armor save for the remainder of the battle. Okay? It also talks about what it does to vehicles, but let's ignore that. So any model that suffers one or more unsaved wounds from a weapon or model with this special rule immediately loses its armor save for the remainder of the battle. Okay? Now, here's the question. What if that model has Feel No Pain? Would it still lose its armor save for the rest of the game if it fails its armor save but makes its Feel No Pain? So if we turn to the main rule book and we read the rule for Feel No Pain, this is where it gets interesting. The rule is as follows. If a model with this ability, meaning Feel No Pain, suffers an unsaved wound, roll a dice. On a 1, 2, or 3, take the wound as normal. On a 4, 5, or 6, the injury is ignored and the model continues fighting. Okay? This ability cannot be used against wounds from weapons, etc., etc. It doesn't really matter. So on a 4, 5, or 6, the injury is ignored and the model continues fighting. So if this were War Machine, then what would happen is both these rules happen once an unsaved wound occurs. So in War Machine, it's very particular about the order of things, of disabling and removing units and all of that. And so the rule here says that any model that suffers one or more unsaved wound, and the Feel No Pain says if a model with this ability suffers an unsaved wound. So if you roll your Feel No Pain, you have suffered an unsaved wound. And here it says if you suffer an unsaved wound, you lose your armor save for the rest of the game. So even if you make your Feel No Pain, because it says on a 4, 5, or 6, the injury is ignored, it doesn't say the unsaved wound never happened, it just basically, they don't lose a wound. So it could be argued that the unsaved wound is ignored, therefore the Entropic Strike never happens. But in War Machine, they're very particular, and I realize that that's a bad argument because 40K is not particular about that. But in War Machine, what would happen is the Entropic Strike would occur, and then the Feel No Pain would occur, or they would occur at the same time. So they would both activate, so he'd lose his armor save, and then he'd get his Feel No Pain, and then he wouldn't die if he makes his Feel No Pain. So the argument here that I want you to debate in the comments below is if a model with an armor save and Feel No Pain is struck by a model with Entropic Strike, fails his armor save but makes his Feel No Pain. If he fails his Feel No Pain, then it's kind of obvious because he's got an unsaved wound. But if he makes his Feel No Pain, does he lose his armor save for the rest of the game? What do you think? And the other thing, the two things to consider is if it's a character, it's an easy conversation because it still has wounds left over anyway. But if it's a squad of guys with Feel No Pain, how do you keep track of which one got the unsaved wound? Because you roll all their armor saves at the same time. And so how would you work that out as well? So what do you think? Post a comment below. The house rule at MiniWarGaming will be that they do not lose their armor save because the wording's this is giving the author of the Codex, Matt Ward, the benefit of the doubt that he actually was very particular in writing the rules. But as we can see from a lot of the rules, he wasn't very particular. The wording it's always a little muddled. And so to all of a sudden think that he's written this rule very clearly to work this way, I don't think I would assume that. But just for fun, let's look at these rules and leave your comments below. This is Matthew from MiniWarGaming. Happy wargaming.